This video will only include gods and humans who have fought in the 8 rounds that have occurred so far in the manga, making up 73 chapters. So people like Nostradamus and Odin, who will most likely be around the top at the end of the tournament, won't be included, with some positions of course being very interchangeable, and the human fighters will be considered alongside their Valkyries. Subscribe for more Record of Ragnarok content, and on to number 17. Jack the Ripper, while highly intelligent and skilled, lacks power and technique to really compare to most of the other fighters in the series. I believe under certain circumstances, like fighting them in London, he can win against a few. However, his divine gloves are very powerful as he's able to turn anything into a divine weapon. So if we do get other cool like arenas where you can change stuff, that would I guess enhance Jack the Ripper in certain matchups, but as a whole, still at the bottom. Zero Fuck You has an amazing weapon in the Misery Cleaver, with some very broken moves which could get him some wins, including the ability to grow this weapon and make it become more destructive as it absorbs misery. However, the way he was portrayed in the series and dealt with by Buddha makes me view him as a lesser god, with Hajun claiming that he was third rate and lower than dirt. Raiden's muscle control combined with his Valkyrie results in a physical and defensive powerhouse, being able to rip Shiva's arms apart and having techniques like this which result in simply a beast of hand-to-hand combat, including this statement from Zeus that he could pretty much one-shot Shiva if he didn't guard with his hands. Pretty crazy. Hercules in any other matchup would have been a monster, demonstrating some of the most destructive abilities in the whole series. However, his portrayal wasn't really as the smartest fighter. Stay tuned for my dedicated How Strong is Hercules video. Hajun, while being a counter to Buddha, has some very deadly abilities, particularly being able to break Buddha's divine weapons, and even have Hades state that Hajun's strength is on a magnitude which many gods can't even hold a candle to. Lu Bu has speed, strength, and skill worthy of being an absolute monster, demonstrated clearly with his Sky Eater attack, one of the best in the whole series, and of course all of his showings in his dedicated spin-off manga. But technique wise, he is lacking by a great margin compared to some of the other broken abilities in Record of Ragnarok. Tesla, while still fighting against Beelzebub in round 8 at the recording of this video, has already done some impressive things to warrant this position and will likely go higher. He has unpredictable movement with the Tesla step, the ability to reach max speed with a single step, of course after some certain preparation, the creation of a cage, and the ability to even teleport up to 3 times in a fight. With this, you could arguably say he should be placed somewhere between 11 and 6 in my opinion. Shiva is not just the strongest Indian god, he's one of 4 chief gods, which is very respectable. On top of that, he's called the mightiest god of destruction in all the heavens, and Hermes states that he's heaven's greatest brawler, possessing unpredictable moves with his war dance, a transformation which increases his power, speed, and even makes him combust, so his opponent is hurt when they are hit and even when they attack back. He was also able to overcome Raiden's most powerful attack, which is already claimed to be a one-shot if you don't block it, so Shiva has something stronger than that, thus a true monster. Hades is once again a chief god as the king of the Netherworld, and the one the gods view as the most reliable. This is of course after defeating an entire army of titans alone. Unfortunately, he lacked in showings and techniques during his fight with Wang, as his only notable ability is being able to increase the power of his divine weapon with his blood, and various strong and fast attacks as a whole. However, the way he is pretty much portrayed by other gods is something I really need to consider in this video. The respect Poseidon and Zeus give him is like no other character in the series, and very clearly isn't just the older brother thing. Also, the way he handled base Beelzebub in their fight during the flashback speaks volumes, and how he just carelessly gives away a pretty broken divine weapon to Beelzebub must be considered when ranking Hades. Wang is kinda crazy. His Chi-Yu fighting style provides him with some of the best abilities in the whole series. For example, his heavily handed defense can be used to redirect attacks, various other attacks capable of harming divine beings like Hades. His crossbow form, which is kinda a undodgeable weakening move, which lowers both defense and the attack power of the target. You may ask, how is this actually done? Pretty much Huang breathes on his opponent, I guess. His victory over Hades was not easy, but he was always in control during this fight and had a much better showing overall. Poseidon's portrayal as a god was done very well. The way other gods feared him and his absolute domination of Sasaki throughout the fight for the majority was unlike most other fights in the series. While I may add, pretty much suppressed and not caring the whole time. His appearance as a fighter for round 3 left Brynhilde stunned in who to pick, considering people like Huang, who we already know is a beast in his own regard, Nostradamus, who is confirmed as the Joker, as such a top tier regardless, and Leonidas, who will most likely be very strong as well. While Hades was kinda portrayed as someone with more power, Poseidon is the brother with more speed. However, he was still capable of breaking a divine weapon with his power, and of course, kill gods, kinda. He doesn't have that many wild techniques, but the 40-day flood is something that must be given respect. Thor in Ragnarok is kinda surrounded in mystery still. Out of all the fights that have occurred so far, he had the easiest time in claiming victory. Regarded as the strongest Nordic god, which could be huge in the future considering Odin still has to fight and will most likely be broken. His hammer is called the strongest of the divine, with Thor himself being stronger. His named attack is of course stronger than the Sky Eater. As a whole, this may be a reserved ranking for Thor as we don't really know what he's truly capable of, I guess, so you could maybe argue around the top 5, but with his showings and abilities considered, he is here for now. Beelzebub is likely to show much more as his fight continues, so in a month or 2 he could be around the top 3 or even number 1 for all we know. He has durability negation with his basic attack, a defensive means which has been claimed to even work on Thor's hammer, at least according to some translations. Ways to make himself stronger, whatever this forbidden technique is that has Zeus freaking out, and most likely a transformation to fully be shown shortly. Sasaki Kojo has an ability that could have you argue for his position anywhere in the top 3 as the ultimate scanner. Sasaki at the start of his fight with Poseidon doesn't make it in the top 10 in my opinion, but by the end and the amount he improved by was just insane. For example, look at this panel. He scanned all of creation at once, he would steal the techniques of the gods. I guess this speaks for itself. Buddha is one of the most versatile fighters in the whole series, as history's strongest adolescent, wielding the 6-round staff that transforms in accordance to his emotions. His future vision ability, which is called a cheat power, allowing him to always know what will happen next in a fight, as he can see the souls move on people, and the soul will always move before the physical body. Some argue that Buddha doesn't belong this high, which I can kinda understand if you consider base Buddha. However, Buddha Fuse of Zero is why he's at the top 3, as this claims an increase in power to the limit, and the volume of Zero is called the ultimate divine weapon. Is it better than Thor's hammer? We don't know, but still very crazy. Adam may be the most controversial fighter in the series when you rank him, as some believe he loses against every other human as he can't copy their techniques with the eyes of the Lord. This is because they're not divine techniques. Of course, I personally disagree, and if you consider Adam keeping up with Adamazus while blind, you have a base for Adam right here, so definitely top tier with that alone. He is called the Supreme Mortal, his eyes are absolutely busted. For example, a technique that surpasses time still allowed Adam to simultaneously copy, dodge, and send the attack back, meaning he surpassed a punch that had already surpassed time. This includes the spamming of this technique alongside other broken ones. If all this can't hit Adam, what else does any other fighter really have? Zeus of course is remaining, having expert control over all of time. His transformation has unavoidable one-shot kill attacks, and of course, he is the supreme god in Record of Ragnarok. Perhaps Adam in a rematch should be number 1 or overall in his performance, but Zeus is pretty much broken. I feel interchangeable throughout. But this is my current weakest and strongest for Record of Ragnarok 2023. I hope you enjoyed. Check out all the other stuff in the description if you haven't already, and of course shout out to the Mad Lads who support the channel via the Patreon. But that's it guys,